And so today we have a very special treat. We have two members of the class of 2002. We have Alyssa McCoy and Radiance Walters who are here to talk to you a little bit about what they've been doing for the last 20 years, what their experience was like at Bullis, and maybe give you just a little insight into what that meant for them as they traveled through high school, through college, and then into their professional and personal lives as adults. So I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves and just give a brief introduction as to what they're doing these days, and then I'm going to ask a few questions just to see if we can't get the conversation going, and if we have some time, we might open it up for questions from you all. So, Alyssa, why don't you start?
Good morning, everyone. So I'll just give you a rundown. This was built our senior year, so coming back here 20 years later is crazy. So I'm Dr. Alyssa McCoy Agnes. I am a research scientist, so I'm a doctoral scientist, have a PhD. I work for a small biotech in Gaithersburg, Propagenics, so I'm a lead staff scientist. So basically what I do, I design experiments, I work with companies, large companies, Pfizer, J&J, Merck, to develop models for them to use for their clinical studies. I left here, went to school in Boston at a small liberal arts school, Emmanuel College, where I played. So I played basketball here, I played basketball there. I left and then I went to an HBCU for grad school to finish my PhD in biomedical sciences. That was Meharry Medical College in Nashville. Left during that time to be a visiting graduate student out at UCSD San Diego, and then returned home to do my postdoc, so postdoctoral fellowship, which is extra training. That was done at Johns Hopkins School of Public Health before starting my position that I'm currently in now.
Hello, everyone. I'm Radiance Walters Harris, and that's my best friend. We met a ninth grade year here, and we've been best friends ever since. And so I am a trademark attorney. I basically help businesses protect their business names, logos, taglines. I have my own law firm, Radiance IP Law, and we specialize in helping small and emerging businesses protect, monetize, and grow profitable brands with trademarks. And I've been doing that for the past 13 years. I played basketball here, also field hockey. Yeah, field hockey. And then I went to Swarthmore College, where I played basketball there as well. And then I went to University of Maryland School of Law, where I did law school, and then started out at a big law firm after law school. And I was there for about 5 years before I started my own business.
Is there, each of you can maybe speak to this, is there an experience, is there a person, is there something about your Bullis experience that sort of helped guide you as you made those decisions to do the things that you did when you left the school walls here at Bullis?
I'll start. So I actually was the first episode of season 2 for The Point. So yay! No one's cheering. Okay, but no, if you go and listen to that, you'll hear more in detail of some of the things that I talked about. But what I really focused on was, it was just such a smaller community than you guys had now. So we had 63, maybe 65 in our graduating class. So we really became friends in our 4 years. Some of these people obviously she's my best friend. She's the godmother of my firstborn and soon secondborn. So, we've continued to be friends for 25 plus years. And I can say that with a couple of my classmates that I've, grew up and matriculated through high school with. I think for me, the close-knit family of Bullis was very important. I took a lot of science classes while I was here. I knew I wanted to do something in science, so AP physics, anatomy, physiology, these are things that I took while I was here to kind of get me ready for the next step and where I am now. I think playing a sport actually helped a lot. So I played softball one year. They asked me not to play anymore. And then I decided I used to dance ballet, tap, and jazz, so I just went ahead and cheered the last 3 years of high school. So I played basketball, and then I was a cheerleader. So that, I think, prepared me, the student-athlete life prepared me for really being prepared for college and the intensity of, you know, the multitasking you have to do in college and even in life now, like as a mom, as a scientist, as a professional, everything that I learned here has helped me for 20 years after. So.
I would agree with that. I would also add, so in sophomore year here is when I made up my mind I wanted to be a lawyer. I wasn't sure what lawyer I wanted to be, but I knew I wanted to be a lawyer. And my favorite class was English. At the time, there was Mr. Hibbs. He was my English teacher. And I loved English. And also my passion for writing started here. That's when I really realized that I loved writing and reading and analyzing and all of that. And like Alyssa said, like having to juggle being an athlete and then being, you know, a good student. Like we actually got good grades here. And then, and so it made like college was easy for me. Like I went to Swarthmore, which is a really like heavy academic, rigorous, like their tagline was anywhere else it would have been an A. But I was knocking them A's out, you know? I was like, okay. So it was cool that prepared me. And then even law school where everyone else was stressed, like I felt like I was really prepared because I already knew like what to expect and how to juggle different competing interests. So I feel like Bullis really set the foundation for being able to really thrive in college and then graduate school and things of that nature.
Thank you. You have a group of 14 to 18, 19-year-olds here in this room. What advice would you give them as they think about sort of their journey through Bullis, for those that are the freshmen and sophomores and juniors, and then advice potentially for these seniors as they head out into the college world?
Whew, okay. So I will say follow your passion. So I knew early on that I wanted to be a scientist. I took advantage of things here and also other, you know, outside of Bullis to prepare me for that. But also try new things. So we didn't have a discovery center when we were here, and you guys have, you know, a shop, lab, and a sewing space. I picked up sewing in grad school. So if that's something that you think, oh, maybe I want to try it here. So now what I do is I make custom clothes and custom baby apparel for like people who want stuff. So that's like what I do on the side of my profession. I would say, I don't know, I just take advantage of also being a high schooler. Like, I think the best training experience as far as education that I've ever had has been at Bullis. And that's not just from academic standpoint or the accolades that we had playing basketball. At one point we were nationally ranked and we're in the Hall of Fame. But take advantage of being like a student and hanging out with your friends. And those are memories that, I mean, on Saturday, I'm pretty sure some of our classmates are going to get together and chuckle about some of the stuff we did here. And that says something. If you can remember 20 years ago, or 20 years have passed and you can remember what you did here vividly, that's an incredible experience. So take advantage of that.
And I would say be yourself. Show up authentically. I feel like in high school, you're really trying to figure out who you are and where you are in the world. I know like in high school, for example, like I wanted to cut my hair off like this, but I was so concerned about what people would think and, oh my goodness. And so, I did it now. I did it many years later, but I'm just saying, don't be afraid to show up as you are, who you want to be. And like people will gravitate towards you, opportunities will come to you just by showing up and being your authentic self. And don't be afraid to do that, no matter what people may think. You're always going to have your people. You're always going to have your tribe who feel who you are. Don't feel like you have to be someone else to fit in with a certain group or do some things that you don't like. Like I didn't like science in high school, and so I didn't pretend to like it. I was like, that's your thing. And so that's what I would say. If you just show up as your authentic self, it'll take you very far in life.
That's great. We have a couple of minutes left. If there's one or two questions from the audience, if anybody has something they'd like to ask.
That's great. So I know you both are lovely black women Bullis become very diverse since I've got here. What was your experience like being here?
Yeah, actually, I had a wonderful time here, and it was actually quite diverse when we were here too. Like we had
Maybe 10 or 12 African American students in our class of 63. I think we
which
were like
is pretty
8 or
good.
10%
Yeah.
of the class.
Yeah,
Something like
and then there were a lot more in other grades. So, yeah, I don't think we felt like we were standing out. Like we fit in really well with everyone. We never experienced any significant issues of any kind that I
No,
can
but
recall.
I think what needs to be important as a minority is if you feel like your voice isn't heard or you're being mistreated, to feel comfortable enough to step up and say something. And I think for us, if that were the case, we definitely would have gone to administration and said, hey, something's, and there were, instances where individuals like, oh, I'm not feeling, this way because they think I'm this or they think I'm that, and it was addressed. But I think if you don't speak up for yourself, because like anyone, everybody deserves a right to be respected here. Everybody is admitted to the same school. So it's important that everyone feels comfortable, whether you're in kindergarten or whether you're in 12th grade, that you're included and it's exclusive. So I don't, again, we didn't have any issues here. I loved it here. I mean, I think most of the students that we had in our class really did well. The upper school was a great experience for us all 4 years. And it's unfortunate if you do have a different experience, but be willing to say, hey, stuff needs to change if that's truly, how you feel.
So one more. Michael, did you raise your hand? No, you did? Okay. Well, thank you so much. Oh, sorry.
Super quick.
Okay.
You said that you did cheerleading, or who said that?
We actually both cheered.
Okay.
did 1 year.
She did 1 year.
So like through Bullis you did it?
Yes.
There's no longer cheerleading. How was your experience cheerleading at Bullis?
Well, we weren't that great. If you have enough students, request it. We didn't.
Yeah.
We weren't great. A for effort. We weren't that great. And it wasn't very many of us. I think at one point it was like 7, and then we probably got to 12. So, but yeah, I mean, again, we didn't have. There were certain teams that they didn't have when we were here that you guys have now. Petition for it. Hey, get a group of girls and say we want to cheer. If you want me to come back and coach, let me know. And yeah, but petition for it. I think whenever we had things that we were dying to have, we got together, we said something about it, and they worked on getting it for us. No problem.
Yeah.
Thank Ms. Orr.
Who's your favorite assistant basketball coach?
Ms. Orr asked who their favorite assistant basketball coach was.
That's a hard one.
Was it Kira?
Kira? I don't know. Maybe Coach Boatman?
Well, Alyssa, Radiance, thank you so much for being here and sharing.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Can I just,
The college.
Mr. Simpson, can I just say?
Yeah, please.
So we'll be wandering campus all day. Probably eat some chicken patties with you guys at lunch. Hopefully it's chicken patty day. But feel free to just approach us, ask questions. We're very open individuals.